Hey guys, today we're going to do a different kind of video. The old Cougar here, we got some new stuff coming for it, but there's a lot of people around here who've never actually seen this car or kept up with this car. So it's time for you to get an update or a caught up, let's say caught up on the car. Now, this has been a long project, probably 3 or 4 years, maybe longer. That this project's been going on. So you're going to see a few things. One, you're going to see the evolution of the red disappear out of my beard. This thing used to be pretty and red, not so much anymore. Also, these videos are the content in this video is going to be kind of chopped up because it's a bunch of videos, it's years of videos all put into one. And by doing that, you're going to see some of the things along the route that goes with this Cougar, like for instance, the very first attempt I ever made at making drag week is in this, because we tried to do it in the Cougar. We took the Cougar on power tour. Clips from all of that will be in here, and then that's all to catch you up on where the Cougar is now. So there's one thing in here that you may not quite catch on to at the very start of it. There's a section in here where you see we've got a motor together to go in the car, and then there's a different motor, and then that motor goes back in. That was all in preparation to get ready for drag week. I had a pretty healthy motor in the car, but a buddy of mine had a bigger motor. We were going to put it in there and do drag week, and then he had to pull out, so we had to pull his engine out and shove my engine back in there. So you'll see motors come in and out of the car. All that is in an effort to get where it is now, to catch you up on it, because we've got something special coming for it, hopefully in the near future.
I'd say it's a nut job.
So sitting here in my driveway for the past several months is a Mercury Cougar 67, which I'll do a walk around and show to you, that me and my daughter picked up to build for my mother. She has been patient about it, and it needs to get done. Backstory with her and this car, she has quite a story with it, and I'll go full on in that story later, but the short version is she learned how to drive on a 67 Cougar. It got sold. She's hunted that car forever. Me and my daughter actually found it back here, and again I'll give you a full walk around in a second. We drove, I think it was a 5-hour road trip to go pick up this car, and 5 hours back.
Car sitting right over there. We pulled it out of the pulled it out of our place of slumber, and today I'm gonna be starting on the engine. So I had this engine here sitting in a storage unit, and it's a fresh motor. It's never been ran, but you see, sitting in a storage unit, it's got some surface rust on things, and it's been sitting over there probably a year and never been touched. So for my peace of mind, I'm opening it up and go through it and make sure everything on the inside looks good. Everything on the inside still looks good. Then we're gonna put it in the car. But there's a few things after I built this motor that I wish I'd done differently, and I'm gonna go ahead and take care of those. So that's on today's agenda, is the motor. First off, the motor's over there. I'm putting laying some fresh paint down on the block and all. The heads, this is one of the reasons that made me take it apart, because I was seeing a little surface rust out here from sitting. But they're actually, you can see everything's actually fairly clean on the inside of them. All this is brand new springs and all. Water pump, brand new water pump, but it had started surface rusting a little bit. It's never even had a pulley it's never even had a pulley or belt or anything on it. So it's never been ran, but it's a brand new water pump. But things like this is the reason I tore the motor down. One of the biggest changes I'm gonna make is the cam. I pulled the cam and lifters out. again, all the assembly loops still on it. This thing had never even been turned in the motor. And just so you know, when I took it out, all these lifters are in order, and I know what order they're in. Not that it matters since the motor's never been turned over, but the cam is gonna change. Don't even know how many days. I think it's been 4 days. The engine's put together. I need to put another coat of paint on the oil pan. Give it that old 70s mild on look. But I'm waiting on the bolt kit for the water pump, and yeah, then it'll be ready to go in the car. But I'm gonna strip this engine bay and paint the engine bay and all before I put it in there. So that's where we at. We're 4 days into the project. We've got the motor built. It's a 310 cubic inch, 302 based Ford small block for those that haven't been listening, following along. And it's gonna go into our 67 Cougar. So we're almost there. Probably tomorrow and Thursday is gonna be busy days for me. So probably Friday, the engine bay will be stripped and cleaned and painted, and then the engine will finally go in the engine bay and get bolted down, and we'll see what happens from there. Took off to Summit first thing this morning, drove down there, got the correct oil pan. It's in that box right there. I'm using these ARP bolts. Make sure you put a little thread sealer on the bolts. The bolts here are not blind holes. They're through holes, which means these holes go all the way through into the oil pan on a Ford. So if you forget to put the thread sealer on the bolts and you stand them in there, you stand a good chance of your car dribbling oil just like that 9th grade birthday party when you got your grandma laughing too hard. So make sure you do that. That's your tech tip for the day. Been doing some sanding on it, try to get it smoothed out. But this is it. This is the car we're taking on Dragweek, 1967 Mercury Cougar. So what's going on with the car? Well, I entered it in the street class. Not sure where it will actually be once we get there. I did put a brand new windshield in it. New rubber, new windshield, original stainless back around it. Now I went ahead and put the stainless back around it for the simple fact that I'm not 100% sure I'm gonna have time to get the car painted before Dragweek, but I'm gonna try. I can tape it off. I'm not trying to win a car show. Out back right here, I'm having some issues with the sequential turn signals. They're not sequentialing. Is that a word? Yeah, whatever. They're going, and they're not going, whatever. So, gotta work on that. So yeah, this is where we are. This is what we're doing. This is our Dragweek build. And we've got about a month. Some things to finish up. Missing the emblem that goes there. Trim's not quite lined up. We're not trying to build a perfect car because, well, none of us is perfect. Still got to put the trim on that goes around between the top and the ear. Antenna. The back window still hasn't been put in. I got to put the rear seal in and all for the back window. Got to go through the brakes. Got to go through the wheel bearings and all that before we leave out. Got to get all the lights working. So there's a few things still to be done. But yeah, there she is in a nutshell. We start on the race setup for the Cougar. I know it seems like we've been starting on this race setup for a while, but there was a few things that had to be done in the background, and today's the day. The motor and transmission that are going to be in this car for Dragweek are on their way here right now. But as much as I'd like to say they're going in the car today,
maybe they will start today, maybe, because we gotta sit down and write up a list of shit that we need, and we're gonna make a quick run to Summit Racing and pick up stuff.
We'll go ahead and dial the 9 and the 1. That way, if we lose our digits, we can poke at the other one with a nose. So, all right, well, so I guess the game plan now, since it's later in the evening, is to get the drive shaft out, get the cross member unbolted, and get it ready to pull, and then maybe pull it out first thing in the morning. And then slide the new one in.
You asking me?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I need to go to Asheville and haul some stuff up to Knoxville, so that'll probably turn into Saturday. Okay. Hey, I'm putting a race motor in the hole.
Nice.
Reminds me of date night with your mother.
Hell yeah. Big fucking,
Bolt T-Rows off.
Drop 2 in each corner. 1 in each corner.
That's what I said. One in the corner too.
All right.
He's about to come straight in.
I'll take that. Thank you. Oh man.
Tunnel ram goodness is on there. You right there is why we do it. That is the sickest, coolest damn view for a 70s correct hot rod. Not a bad way to finish out a day. How do you think that's going to look on drag week?
Pretty fucking cool.
There it is in all of its glory. Tunnel ram! Yep. So, man, doesn't that just look freaking awesome? So, there's a little stuff left to do, but it's coming along.
I guess I forgot what's in the box. As everybody's seen from my friends at Summit. One thing about it, they don't want them to get dirty or nothing. Unsealed bags. So what's in these boxes first? Black coated bolts. This is, we shall see. A little sus. But inch and 3/4 tube, 3-inch collectors. Now I just gotta see if I
A
fit
little
the car.
adjustment left to do, but yeah, let's see if I can get backed up enough to where you can actually see the greatness here. Yeah, that right there is pretty good. I got just a hair left to do to get it just right. It is in no drive, man. No drive. No drive. No drive. No drive. Park. Actually, I don't have an ass. I have a belly. But fat belly doesn't sound near as impressive.
Oh, hey, there's my pliers. Where'd you go, buddy?
I was waiting on you to tell me to put it.
Oh, are you in the car?
Yeah, I figured it was time for adjustment.
Huh?
Figured it was time for adjustment.
Hey, pull it back 2 clicks.
2 clicks. 1, 2.
You can't do that.
Oh.
Not until it's running.
If it's running, I ain't got to do that.
Pry bar. Huh?
If it's running, I ain't got to do that.
What, make the noises?
Yeah.
But it's still fun.
The car makes all noises if it's running. Like park.
Yes.
All right.
Pork.
Park. Not pork, park. Get second pass.
Well, we're gonna be able to test on Sunday.
Yeah.
So once they tech it, you can go out there and fucking settle into 2 or 3 and then fucking feed her the onions and see what it does.
Yeah, I want the first time we roll into it, I want to get a nice, easy roll in and just.
Well, we need to take some hits out here.
That ain't gonna be no problem.
That's
I
gonna be
need to
cool,
call.
but
I need to call somebody and sit there and unbar some strippers with it, put the slicks on it, throw a couple puddles out there.
somebody got some close.
I don't know, a couple phone calls, trying to find somebody.
Let me bump it over and, well, never mind, coil ain't lit. Go ahead.
Turn the switch on.
Yeah.
Alright, she's hot. The dash lights are on, she's hot. Sorry, Roger. Down there is what it was.
We can grab a gas can and give it a splash.
Let's see if I can find us an empty bottle. Let me turn this. Let me turn the switch off real quick. We're gonna poke a little hole in it and make a little sport bottle out of it.
Well, I was going to just fill a front bowl.
Well, that's what I was gonna do, but I'm gonna go sport bottle, without filming in with it.
Okay, switch.
What the hell was that?
Golf bait on the floor. It's shaking, yeah, it's the whole line shaking all hell. Switch on. This is Mike Burt's Driveshaft shop. It's been in the same location for 50 years. He's been making drive shafts for race cars, street cars, off-road cars, anything. And that's Mike Burt's. And what he's working on is the new drive shaft for the Cougar.
He's building us a top-notch drive shaft for drag week. Mike Burtz is over 80 years old and still puts in 12-hour days every day right here making these drive shafts. Some of the biggest names in racing use his drive shafts. Off-road vehicles and even street cars. The man absolutely is a living legend, and I am beyond honored to run his drive shafts. And actually, I run his drive shafts in every vehicle I have. Rear end completely back together now in the car. Oh, I'm gonna have to get that transmission momentarily. Well, there you go. After a long day of ups and downs, the engine bay is once again empty. Turnaround motor is out. Fancy transmission is out. And we're going back to the 308. That's all we can do. So I guess I'm gonna push the car outside tonight, and I'll figure it out. I always do. I'll figure something out. Yeah, you see my little shadowy head bobbing around. Today is crunch day. I have to get this motor and transmission back in today. Everything plumbed, wired, and running. There it goes. All the hot rod parts are leaving. Mike's out. And now I'm doing drag week solo. And I'm starting from scratch. And I'm leaving tomorrow. Hopefully, I'm leaving tomorrow. So, Lord willing, here we go. Today's good. A week ago. Y'all won't hear that story. Those ugly brake lines on. There it is. No, not bolted down, but the original engine's back in the car. Well, not the original engine, but the engine I had in the car before we took the car apart. Motor and transmission is in the car. There's a few parts I have to track down. Hopefully, somebody locally has them in stock. I am still holding out hope that at some point in time tomorrow I can pull out of this yard. It will not probably be first thing in the morning like I was planning, but we're still working. All right, here's the reality of the situation. My goal was to leave tomorrow morning. That's obviously not happening. Drag week. Officially, I have to be in line for tech Sunday before noon, I think it is. Carb stud kit.
Alright, one side down, one side to go, and we throw plug wires on this bad boy. I don't really want to run it because I don't have a cooling system up in it, but I want you to get in there and turn the key. I want to see if I'm fairly close on the timing. I just kind of threw the distributor in there, so I just want to see if I'm fairly close. So I'll do everything out here, you just crank it over in there.
Just turn the key over.
Crank it over, yes. Nothing?
No, that one light comes on, that's it.
If you,
That's what I'm doing.
well, that doesn't make any sense. Try it now. Leave the switch on. Switch on. Switch on. Hopefully, everything functions as it should, and I'm able to hit the road right after lunch. The plan tomorrow is come out here about 5 o'clock in the morning, 5:30, somewhere in there, knock out the last 3 or 4 little things, fire it up, let get some heat in it, run it around here in the yard, and I'm actually going to drive it to lunch. And then after lunch, point it north and go on a hope and a prayer. See if this thing will fire up. We ain't touched this Cougar in a while, so see what a real cold start's like. Got the hooked up on the old hurry up and start mode, and well, let's see. I don't think it's charged up yet. Let's check the old box and see what it says. That might be enough to make her boom boom. Let's see. I have not touched this car in a while. Oh, little lights are on, so now as long as I actually got the right key. Oh, I'm not even gonna touch the gas, make sure it's in park. I'm not gonna touch the gas because I don't even know if I got the right key for it. If you have not seen a Monte Carlo bar before, there's 2 different kinds. I have both styles. This one right here has a bend in it, so it goes around the distributor. If the distributor is not an issue, then you have a straight one like this right here. We need one with a bend in it. Export brace, this car only had one when we got it, one was missing. But the parts car that we drove home that you've seen has a pair of them on there, and we're going to rob the pair of those off, clean them up and paint them and put them on this car. And we should have most of the stuff under the hood buttoned up at that point in time. Let's see how easy these things give up their... Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
not wanting to give up too easy, are they? What fits that? Alright, one of these is in great shape, good and straight and everything, but that card's been wrecked. So this one right here has a little, I don't know if you can see it good on camera, but it has a little whoop-de-doo in it right here. So I'm just going to use a little body hammer and my head table right here, just kind of work this out a little bit and try to straighten this up as much as possible. I think actually, I'm not even going to use the table. I'm going to use a dolly and my leg right here so that I can work this back the other way. Has to work its way down to a flat here also. Well, she looks fairly straight now. Seems that we've done a pretty good job of straightening them out. Good and straight. I wish there wasn't a glare on it. Good and straight. Over there, that's the one that was twisted so bad, but you can see it's good and straight now. This side over here is good and straight. Got them all bolted into place so that we could check everything. And I just need to come out and get a little satin black put on them. It's definitely a fun ride. Probably not the best weather to be out cruising in it. Probably need to roll the window up too. Probably not the best weather to be cruising in, but it's a fun ride. And sometimes it's not about getting them perfect or just getting them right, or sometimes it's about just getting them running and get out and enjoying them. And that's what today was about. I needed to go to town, and if I got to go to town, I might as well drive something cool to go there. You know what I mean? Cougar in the house! So I'm a guy that kind of just likes to go in on it, so I'm gonna pull some numbers out of thin air, make some lines, and kind of look at it, and then take these measurements over to the car and see what that looks like as far as the scoop goes on the car. But I think I want the sides, not this dramatic, but I don't want the sides flat. I want the sides to kind of have some rate to them, maybe just a little bit. All right, first bend. Let's go kind of slow with it and see how this works for me. And keep in mind, when you bend a piece of metal, you want to go past 90 a little bit, because metal has a memory and it does want to come back. Hey, I know that one right off the bat first time. You gotta look at something cool while you're going down the road too, you know what I mean? It's not always about what other people see. Want to end it out. Fortunately, I have run out of death wheels here to chop this off, but this is what we're going to, you can see that ridge pretty good right there. This is going to be the scoop that you're going to see on the hood of the Cougar. Yeah, you can see, and I just throwed it on there so it's not even straight on the hood, but you can see how you'll have the little peak in the center. It's going to match the edges of how cool that right there is going to look. That That is 70s bitching right there. Let's do a 2,000-mile road trip. It's time for power tour. First gas stop. So far we've made it about 40, 50 miles. Not quite, well, we're not quite halfway. 40-ish miles, I guess. So far, so good. We all of a sudden lost spark. So a little side of the road butchery, and we were back on the road.
Seems we had a intermittent spark issue back there. Got that resolved, and now it looks like we're going to drive into some rain. I thought it would be cool to put a big scoop on the hood and have the motor sticking to the top, so hopefully we don't suck too much water driving down the road. And this little patch of rain's over with pretty quick. Seems like we got the spark back. Seems like we got the power back we were losing. It feels frisky in the cool air. Cool air makes the Cougar frisky. Same way one too many drinks make Cougars frisky.
We're trying to get to that venue. Finally made it.
We managed to find a 68 part next to that.
I'll give her a bath real quick. All right, there she is, washed up, cleaned up, as best I can anyway. Really need to do a little sanding, a little body work on it, and put a little paint on it. But at the end of the day, does it still have the same appeal if it's got really nice paint on it? You know what I mean? It cleans up pretty good. But there she is, cleaned up and ready for the next step. I got this mocked up on here. I don't have anything actually extremely tight yet. Just kind of mocked everything up for space and clearance. I think I'm going to leave the 1-inch plate, just because this solenoid right here is kind of close to the distributor. And I think if I drop it down, it's going to hit this temperature sending unit right here, which is, you know, kind of close here. So I'm going to leave the spacer under it and run it like that. I think that's going to be my best bet. I don't have any of these extremely tight yet because I'm going to have to rotate this one just a little bit, so that my fuel outlet can be where I need it to be for me to run fuel to it. The nitrous one is fine, I think. I think it'll work where it's at without any issues. I don't think we'll have any problems with that one. I think that's going to work just fine. But let's go ahead and get this mounted up, and I'll show you where I'm going to mount it in this car. Well, as I've said many times in this video, the car's still packed from Power Tour. So I'm going to get all the stuff from over here out of the way. We're going to mount the bottle right here. Let's see here. I think that's what I want right there. The problem is this right here has a little kick up in it, so my bolts aren't flat, but I think it'll work just fine. Put it right in there, and I can run my hose right up through there, and it'll be out of the way of everything. I don't think it'll be, I don't think it'll have any issues with the trunk closing or with stuff packed in here. I think that's the way we're gonna go right there. Move it up just a hair. I got plenty of room. My fist fits in there. Clamps are flat. Yeah, I think that's the way we're gonna go. And there's plenty of room.
Well, not a bad ride this morning. Not a bad ride this morning. All in all, she's a pretty good old car.
I do like old buildings when we find them.
I know.
Cool old building right in the middle of pretty much nowhere. My wife likes her photo ops in old buildings, and I like that too. We're gonna get the sunset cruise home in the old Mercury. All right, guys, that catches you up on the Cougar. That takes you from the very beginning of the journey all the way where it is now. It's a car that really is a lot of fun to drive, and we thoroughly enjoy it. And hopefully the new surprise for it will be here before long, and we can unbox that and show you the latest evolution of where the Cougar is going. Such a fun car, and that's one of those cars that's ever evolving, and I don't think it'll ever truly be done. It's just a fun car to drive. Now, I'm gonna get in the house because it's so cold out here, I can't even hold the camera straight right now. God bless y'all. Thank you so much for following along with us. I hope the Lord bless you more today than he did yesterday. God bless you. To him be the glory. We'll see you on the next.
I'd say it's a nut job.